Greetings everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. Why do we have so much evil in the world? Why is there so much contention and disagreement and condemnation and accusation and even war and rumors of war between peoples and nations? Why is it seemingly so difficult to live in peace and in tranquility with our neighbor, with our friend, with our parents, with our children? Did God create evil? Now, those who may not believe in God claim that man is the end product of the evolutionary process coming out of animals and wild beasts. And so they talk about the survival of the fittest idea, saying that man, as the highest evolutionary product of this chain, is just a wild beast. And he was able to survive because he developed this attitude of hatred and of war. But this is not what the Bible says, my friends. The Bible says that God created man. But did God create man in this evil and hateful state in which we see him so many times today? Where does evil come from? The Bible gives us the answer, but many do not believe the Bible. Many do not believe that what the Bible says actually is accurate. But in failing to accept the biblical truth on this matter, they fail to understand the origin of evil. The Bible says that God created angels before he created man. And one of the great archangels and cherubs he created was called Lucifer in the Latin language, or Hillel in the Hebrew, and it just means shining star of the dawn or light bringer. But this Lucifer, although he was made perfect, and he was in a perfect state when he was created, had a free will. And he decided to rebel against God's way of life, his way of love, his way of compassion, and his way of cooperation. And he decided to instead invent the way of strife and of envy and of hatred. And he convinced about 1/3 of his angels under his command to follow his lead. And they are called today demons. And Lucifer is known today as Satan, the devil, the prince of the power of this evil world. Now, many people don't believe in Satan. Many people don't believe in demons. Many people don't think that they have anything to do with the fact that man cannot live in peace and harmony with his fellow man. Because they cannot see Satan. They cannot see demons. They are invisible to the human eye. And because they cannot see them, they don't believe they exist. But they are very real. Jesus Christ tells us that they are very real. God the Father tells us they are very real. And we are here to overcome Satan and his demons. Jesus Christ had to overcome Satan. Remember, he was in the wilderness, in the desert for 40 days and for 40 nights, fasting, and then Satan came to him to tempt him. And Christ overcame him. And he tells us that we are here to overcome Satan, that we are here to overcome the society which has adopted Satan's way of thinking, and that we are to overcome our own human, selfish, carnal nature. Because, my friends, when we were born, we didn't have that nature per se yet. We had, if you please, a neutral nature, but we had the ability to decide. We could choose. And Satan was right there, and he inflicted into us through his moods and through his broadcasts, if you please, his way of thinking. And so in time we adopted his way of thinking, and then we have called it human nature, whereas in fact it is actually Satan's nature, which we have embraced unknowingly. Many of us never realize that mood swings come from Satan. Sometimes we are happy and we are content and we think we could just conquer the world. And then suddenly the next moment we are totally, terribly depressed, and we become hateful and angry when we hear that somebody does something which we think he shouldn't have done. And rather than going the way of God, rather than trying to reconcile with the one who might have offended us, or if we know that we have offended someone, to go to that person and speak to him or her alone, we are there to pay back, and we want to tell the whole world what a wicked and rotten individual this other guy or person might be. And we are following thereby Satan's influence. Satan is called the God of this world. Satan is the prince of the power of the air. He rules through the air like airwaves. And that's how he broadcasts his mood swings, his ideas, his concepts, these fiery darts of the devil, which we are supposed to conquer, as we read in the book of Ephesians. Satan is called the destroyer. Satan is the lion going around like a roaring lion to see whom he can devour. Paul says we shouldn't be ignorant of his devices, but far too many times we are. Far too many times we don't recognize and realize the fact where depression, where these concepts of I can't do it and I shouldn't do this, although I perhaps know I should, where this comes from. It's coming from Satan the devil. We need to understand Satan is called the accuser of the brethren. He is called the one who is there to destroy us, and we are to conquer him. We have never to give in to him, because God says no temptation will overtake us which is too difficult for us to bear. But we have to come to God. We have to be humble, and we have to accept his lead. Then we can, and then we will conquer and be victorious towards Satan. But of course, if we don't even believe he is there, or if we are ignorant of his devices, we cannot conquer him. We cannot do what God tells us to do, and then we don't want to. My friends, it is so important that we understand that all the evil in the world comes by Satan and through his devices which he has instilled in us. And we are here to overcome these influences. Now, we individually may not be able to change the world, but we can change our own lives and our own sphere of influence. We can work on ourselves, and we can relate to others with whom we come in contact how we should and can live. Living God's way of love and of mercy and of reconciliation and of happiness. My friends, you need to know more about Satan the devil. You need to know more about the spirit world. You need to know more about God and holy and righteous angels and what position and what function they have. In order to help you, we have prepared this booklet. It's talking about angels, demons, and the spirit worlds. You need this booklet. We have researched the topic for more than 30 years, and then we have reduced it to writing. There is not a booklet like it out there. You cannot afford not to have it and not to read it. So please do yourself a favor and either ask for a hard copy of this booklet on angels and demons and the spirit world, or go to our website and read it there, because it is posted online. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, Satan is out there to get you. Don't let it happen to you. Thanks again. This is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.